What is free speech? Are statutes and art considered speech? What about hate speech? Is that protected? This topic is becoming increasingly brought up in these last couple of years, but many people still do not know the facts. Free speech is defined by the Oxford Dictionary as the right to express any opinions without censorship or restraint, but not all speech is truly covered by this caveat. Some exclusions include fighting words, obscenity, child pornography, libel and slander, crimes involving speech, and threats. At the moment, the Supreme Court is not looking to add any more exclusions than there currently are. Hate speech is technically protected unless it infringes upon the 7 exclusions. Since it is not always clear whether a certain kind of speech involves any of those exclusions to a great enough degree, where is that line of exclusion drawn? There is a spectrum of opinions on this, and there is no right or wrong. The two sides of this include the general left-wing opinion that anything that focuses on the idea of hate should be unromanticized and something to not be proud of, since it is ultimately discriminating and demeaning. On the more right-wing side, it is believed that speech should be protected relentlessly and that the statues being politicized specifically are representations of a true American time in fights of state rights and for the glory of lost boys who fought. Someone very educated on the topic of free speech is Mr. Clay Hansen of the Thomas Jefferson Center for the Protection of Free Expression. During an interview, he focused on how free speech is about adding to the conversation rather than pushing the limits to offend someone. Mr. Hansen also directed attention to how different groups of people have completely separate opinions, including First Amendment absolutists who believe that anything possibly communicated should be amply protected. On the other hand, we have people who strictly believe that inciting acts should be defined more specifically so that it could be used to rule unprotected speech more often. During the Festival of the Book speech by Edward Ayers in Charlottesville, Virginia, Kristen Zakos brought up the idea of statue removal and how it should be considered incitement speech. She said that it had felt like I had put a stick in the ground and kind of ugly stuff bubbled up from it, to a news reporter from the New York Times. It is also claimed by the Times that the people around her gasped in shock and scoffed, or either completely brushed it off their shoulders as if no change or any thought would be brought to the idea. Mr. Norman Dill is a member of the Board of Supervisors for Albemarle County and was in office during the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia in August of 2017. He stated, "Hate speech and statues aren't always synonymous. The underlying meaning of the statue has a lot to do with the image, the time when it was erected, and the image definitely has a lot to do with interpreting if it is hate speech." When talking to Virginia Delegate David Toscano, it was proven to us that steps are being taken instead of being in a political stalemate. He had originally put in a bill that got denied, stating that localities had the choice on what to do with their statues and public places, and compared the Fairfax area's major opinion to Albemarle County's. He realized that this bill would never gain a following unless he specified it to mean strictly Confederate statues, since his previous bill would include World War memorials, Revolutionary War memorials, and so on. He was then asked, "Do you consider the Confederate statues to be incitement under the First Amendment?" And his reaction was surprising. He seemed to ponder it and said that this is something that needs to be considered, as if it was a new avenue to explore. Free speech is a fundamental right in our society and will always continue to be, no matter where definitions may fall. Although there is no immediate solution, the only way to come to one is to start being more educated citizens. There will be no ultimatum answer, so compromise will be necessary. Opening up calm conversation from the different sides will be vital. One thing is for sure, and that is that we need to get involved now.